Welcome to the third layer, a deeper dive into the human mind and reality's fractures. We've moved past faith, death, and cosmic vastness to explore darker, personal spaces. Here, perception twists, reality shifts, and identity feels fragile. It's a place where time warps, truths blur, and nothing is quite what it seems. Are you ready to question it all? Let's begin. By subscribing to our channel, you play a vital role in keeping our content alive and thriving. Your support makes all the difference. Suffering from derealization, depersonalization. Imagine waking up one day and feeling as if you're no longer truly here. The colors of the world seem muted, and your surroundings feel like a movie set, somehow off and detached. That's the unsettling grip of derealization. For many, it's like watching their own life from behind a screen, seeing themselves move, speak, and interact as if they're a ghost tethered to reality by the thinnest thread. But there's more. Depersonalization cuts deeper, making people feel as though their thoughts don't belong to them, or that their body is an unfamiliar shell. Everyday moments turn nightmarish. Brushing your teeth, looking in the mirror, or even hearing your own voice can send shivers down your spine. It's as if you're just an observer trapped in someone else's life, a prisoner in your own skin. Some experience this after trauma, a defense mechanism perhaps, that the mind uses to protect itself from shattering pain. Others fall into its clutches due to chronic stress, anxiety, or even seemingly out of nowhere. You might walk through familiar places, surrounded by loved ones, and yet feel utterly alone and unreal. A touch on your arm may not ground you, but remind you how numb you truly feel. It raises terrifying questions. What is real? If you can't trust your own senses, can you trust your memories, your feelings, or even your very self? People with derealization and depersonalization often find themselves doubting everything. Therapy, grounding techniques, and even medication can sometimes help, but the path out is never guaranteed. Imagine trying to explain this foggy prison to others who don't understand. Just snap out of it, they might say, but how do you wake up when the world itself feels like a dream? It's an endless loop of questioning reality, of trying to anchor yourself to a shifting world. And if reality is subjective, can you ever fully trust your senses again? Psychedelic drug experiences. Have you ever wondered what it's like to unlock the hidden corridors of your mind? For those who venture into the world of psychedelics, reality itself becomes malleable, an ever-shifting canvas of colors, patterns, and profound thoughts. It's like stepping through a door into a dimension where nothing makes sense, yet everything seems to connect on an ethereal level. LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, DMT. The names vary, but the journeys they induce are often described as both euphoric and terrifying. Imagine watching your walls melt, seeing sound waves ripple through the air, or feeling as if time itself has frozen. Under the influence, ordinary objects can hold cosmic significance. A leaf blowing gently in the wind might reveal the mysteries of existence, or an innocent laugh may echo for what feels like an eternity. Many who seek out psychedelics do so searching for meaning, a way to see beyond the dull routines of everyday life. For some, it leads to powerful epiphanies about themselves or the universe. They may claim to have met God, communicated with otherworldly beings, or glimpsed alternate realities. But not every trip is a blissful journey of enlightenment. There's a darker edge to the psychedelic experience that can trap a person in a nightmare of their own making. When a bad trip unfolds, it can feel like being trapped in your worst fears with no escape. Some describe the terror of ego death, the sensation that they are dissolving, losing all sense of who they are. Their mind fractures and they are confronted with deep, often unresolved pain, leaving them shaken long after the drug wears off. In that moment, they might ask, "Is this the real me?" And the question lingers even after reality returns. Science has attempted to unlock the secrets of these mind-bending experiences. Studies suggest psychedelics can help treat depression, PTSD, and addiction, but there are risks too. Not everyone who enters these altered states emerges the same. For some, the line between what's real and what's imagined can blur forever. So, what happens when you go too deep into your mind's recesses? What if you see things that shouldn't be seen, or understand truths that were meant to stay hidden? Psychedelics force us to confront questions we're rarely prepared to answer, leaving those who've journeyed through altered states forever changed, sometimes enlightened, other times haunted by what lies beneath the surface of reality. 3-4 people died while you read this. Tick, tick, tick. Every second that passes feels insignificant, a beat of time that we hardly notice. But behind every passing moment lies a grim reminder of life's fragility. As you read these words, 3 to 4 lives have slipped away. Somewhere, an aging man exhales his final breath, a car crash leaves a family shattered, or a sudden, inexplicable heart failure extinguishes a vibrant soul. The silent rhythm of life and death continues, and there's nothing any of us can do to stop it. Death is a universal certainty, and yet we rarely pause to truly comprehend its scale or finality. It isn't just statistics. Every death marks the end of a story. For each of these lost lives, there was laughter, pain, secrets left untold, and dreams unfinished. How many people right now are closing their eyes for the last time? In hospitals, on streets, in distant lands. Death is indifferent to age, wealth, or circumstance. Even as you sit, breathing and aware, their moments have ended. But why dwell on such a morbid thought? Because it forces us to confront a truth we often ignore. Life is fleeting, fragile, and sometimes brutally unfair. It's easy to turn away, to forget that each death ripples outwards, changing those left behind. A mother sobbing at a hospital bedside, a child waiting for a father who will never return. In an instant, entire worlds collapse. How many of us consider this when we waste time on petty arguments, or when we let fear prevent us from chasing what truly matters? The idea that lives are ending as we speak isn't meant to paralyze us with fear. It's meant to wake us up, to remind us that every breath, every beat of our heart is a gift that can be taken away without warning. So as you finish reading these words, consider this. While life and death are out of our control, what we do with the moments we have left isn't. It's a stark reality that somewhere, as we reflect, another life is slipping away. The cycle doesn't stop. But maybe, just maybe, we can let this brutal truth shape how we live while we still can. Growing up in cult sects. Imagine a childhood where every day is defined by strict rules, controlled beliefs, and unbreakable loyalty, where your family, your home, even your identity is shaped by a tight-knit community with its own truths, and leaving it could mean exile or worse. Growing up in a cult or sect isn't just about a religion or ideology. It's a life lived under a suffocating veil, one where curiosity is often punished, and obedience is the only path to belonging. For a child, the world within the cult is their entire universe. The leaders, sometimes charismatic, sometimes tyrannical, dictate what is right, what is wrong, and who can be trusted. Questioning their authority is unthinkable. Those who dare face psychological torment, shaming rituals, or brutal consequences. Some cults demand complete isolation from the outside world. Friends are chosen, and marriages are arranged. A smile can hide fear. A prayer can mask a plea for escape. The daily routines are laced with rituals and indoctrination. Imagine waking up each morning to prayers or chants, being told that the outside world is evil and full of enemies. Your education might be limited, distorted by beliefs that clash with reality. Books, music, even the internet are filtered, censored, or forbidden entirely. If your thoughts stray beyond the confines of their teachings, guilt crushes you. Sin, they say, festers inside doubters, but then comes adolescence, a dangerous age in the eyes of any cult. The questions become harder to silence. Why can't I leave? Who decides what's true? For some, doubts turn to quiet rebellion. For others, they become sources of despair. Some manage to escape through courage, luck, or desperation, leaving behind family and friends who may never speak to them again. Yet freedom comes at a price. Trauma, shattered trust, and the haunting memory of a life controlled. As adults, former members grapple with rebuilding their identities, torn between lingering loyalties and bitter truths. Those who escape may share their stories, revealing the pain and manipulation hidden behind closed doors. But for every survivor who breaks free, others remain trapped, their stories unheard. Even now, cults thrive worldwide, hidden, transforming lives in their image. We can't always see them, but their echoes are real, and for many, growing up in one means a lifelong struggle to reclaim who they might have been. Being born in the wrong body. Imagine waking up every day feeling like a stranger in your own skin, a deep and persistent sense that who you are inside does not match what the world sees. It's not a phase or a fleeting thought, it's an internal struggle that never really leaves, whispering doubts and shouting anguish. This is what it's like to be born in the wrong body, a state of dissonance known to many transgender and gender diverse individuals, but rarely understood by those who haven't lived it. From an early age, signs emerge. A boy who feels drawn to wearing dresses, a girl who despises being called she. But society often reacts harshly. Children are told to conform, to behave normally, to fit neatly into the boxes assigned at birth. This pressure can break spirits, leaving scars of shame, isolation, and confusion. Many suppress their true selves, hoping to avoid rejection or violence, a grim reality faced by many who dare to live authentically. Adolescence is often a nightmare. Puberty brings changes that deepen the divide between body and identity. Secondary sex characteristics, like voice changes, body hair, or breast development, can feel like betrayals, constant reminders of being trapped in a form that doesn't reflect the person within. This leads some to desperate measures, binding, hiding, or seeking hormone therapy as a lifeline. For others, depression and self-hate become overwhelming, and the risk of self-harm skyrockets. Despite the pain, the journey towards self-discovery and self-acceptance begins for many. Support from understanding friends, chosen families, or LGBTQ+ communities can be a beacon of hope. Transitioning socially, medically, or both is a step that can save lives. But it isn't easy. The world outside remains hostile in many places. Transphobia, discrimination, and violence lurk in daily interactions, in laws that restrict healthcare access, in hate-filled words that cut deeper than any blade. Those who have walked this path often carry scars, both from their bodies and from society, but they also embody resilience and bravery. Their stories remind us of the incredible strength it takes to live one's truth against all odds. Being born in the wrong body isn't a choice, nor is it a tragedy. It's a testament to the complexities of identity and the power of self-determination, a fight for the right to simply be who you are even when the world refuses to understand. And for many, that fight never ends, it only transforms.